That's how I would set up tracking multiple people using the same calendar. And so then they get tracked kind of like referral links. But this is how I would do it. So first off, I'd go to the sites and we're going to create a form or take your current calendar form, whatever you have. And what you're going to do is we're going to add in a custom field and then we're going to make it hidden. All right, so you have your form here. And what we'll do is now I would want to drop down just so it's easier to sort and filter in the contact section to see how many of each. But because you can't make a drop down hidden on a form, there's no hidden. So we'll have to do this little roundabout way. What we'll do is, actually we can just do this from here. Create this for now. We'll say influencer and we'll say influ here. That can be fine. This, we're actually not going to use it here. I'm just using this to create it. So we'll say our influencers are Bob, Steve, say Joe. So then we got that, but actually we don't, that's not going to work. So we're going to remove that. What we're going to do is we're going to do a single line text. Now in this one, call it something like influencer automation or UTM, say UTM. And then we'll do this. Now this is what we're going to do is for the calendar, what we're going to do is they're going to have a link. So question mark after the calendar would be question mark. And then whatever you want to say. Typically what people do for affiliate links is say ref. You could say influencer if you want, but make it smaller, say ref. And then for example, Bob, this would be his link. Steve, this would be his link. So by that, we're going to come back here. So we're going to make this say ref. We're going to make it hidden, and then everything else will keep the same. So this is just a single line text. Now you can just keep it this way, but this is going to be harder to filter and see how many people of each. That's going to be the form. We'll call this say influencer, and we'll save this. So now we got the form here. Okay. And now if we back out of here, say we go down to settings, the custom fields. So now we're going to have two of them in. Why didn't that? Okay, probably didn't save it. So I'll just add another field. We're going to add this one again because it didn't save it before. Influencer, put whatever you want, whatever, say additional info. And then we'll say Bob, Joe, Steve, whatever, whoever you want them to be on there. Okay, so now we have that. And then I would probably take this one, and I like to do this, say like an automations folder, just so it's out of the way. Automations. And then I would put this one in, move to group, automations. I like doing this because then I'll also have this on the bottom of the contact list so it's out of the way. People ignore that. All right, after we have that, now we need to go over to the calendar. Let's go to the calendar and let's go down to, I'll just pick a random calendar. We'll say this one, edit. Now we make sure the calendar forms on the calendar. We'll select that one and we'll close. I already have it here, but now when you refresh the calendar or when you open the calendar, it's going to have, so influence is on here, but it's not in, or say it's not shown here because it's hidden, right? So what we'll do is, all right, so we got that. Let's actually make sure, because it's important for that. I'm gonna go back to the builder here. We're gonna go to influencer form. I'm just gonna make sure this one, see why, I don't know why it changed. So make sure this says ref or whatever you want the ending link to be here. Just something simple like that. Refer, ref, refer. So there you go. Now that'll work. Okay. Now what we're going to do is now we're going to create now in the automation. You probably already have an appointment reminder sequence. So I'm just going to start from scratch, but just you can add into the one that you already have. The way you're going to do that. So we're going to do say appointment status. Status is confirmed. In calendar, we're going to say that one, probably the way you have it set up. Now what we're going to do is toward the top, you're going to do an if else. If else. And what we're going to do here, we're going to contact details, find that influencer one we made. So the one that's being filled out on the form is the influencer UTM, right? So that's the one, the UTM. So we have that. And then we're going to say is, and this would be, say, Bob. We'll name this branch Bob. Now we can just duplicate this branch out, make this say Steve, and caps, case sensitive, it's not case sensitive. And we'll duplicate this one out too. And I will say Joe, or whoever, how many people you have, you would do this. And now you have your different branches here. So every time you add a new person, you want to come in and add, or a new influencer, you want to come in and add a new branch to it. Then what we're going to do is here, we're going to update the contact field, and we're going to find influencer. So we want to update the influencer with, and this one is going to be, in this case, Bob, because this is Bob's branch. I'll probably do this. Bob. We'll copy this over. Change this to Steve. Steve, and then we'll copy this over here. Joe, save. All right, so now we have this. Now what we're going to do over here, now this is just be your normal branch of whatever you have for the appointment reminders. So we'll do this and say, well, I have an email going out. We'll just say send email. Great, so that's probably like your confirmation email. Then down here, we're going to do this. Go to, and we're going to go over here. Same thing here. Go to here. And then one more. Go to. So now what's going to do is going to come down here and then based on whatever that UTM influencer, which is the hidden field on the form, whatever it is, and you got to make sure this is the same as whatever their link is. If it's Bob, but if it's Bobby, it won't work because if this is different, it's not going to work. So you got to make sure that you have that same. And again, it's not case sensitive. So you have that. It's going to update that field. Then it's going to go to this branch, and then you're just going to continue on here with whatever other automation you have. Wait 24 hours before, blah, 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 all that. We'll say appointment UTM. It's actually not UTM. It's called a query field, but we're going with this for now. Okay, so we save that. And now you have your workflow that's going to work. One thing to keep in mind is it's going to be, you're limited on 10 branches here. So if you're going to have more than 10 influencers, what you would do is you would then down here after the none branch. So if it wasn't any of these 10, but it says a different person number 12, then you would just add another if else here. And then you would do this. Actually, you could probably just do this. Copy all actions from here, put it here. And so now if it isn't one of these three, or say 10, then we go down here, and then now you make this. Jenny, Sarah, or whatever. And you would just go down and update this for all of them. And then now, same thing, you have to come and edit this, add the names in the custom field, and then select the appropriate names. And then we're going to want to move this again. So you're going to move this over here. This email, this is probably your email. So I would probably, you just rearrange this, delete this one, move action over here. And then now everything is, I'll add in a go to. Okay. So now what we have is after this, after it updates that field, it goes to here. After it updates this field, it goes to here. And you would just create branches like that to set up your workflow. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Let's go ahead and do a quick test just to show you. So I'm going to refresh this here. We have reference Bob. Now let's do this. Steve. Yeah, Steve. Okay. Then we're going to select, there we go. So now it's filling in that hidden field. Now we're going to pick a time, select Aaron test, schedule meeting. Now I'm going to come back here and then let's just, okay, now check it out here. So let's go to execution logs. And we see added to workflow, if else condition. If we check this out, it's not Bob, it's Steve. So here, true, it works, Steve. So that means now it went down this one, update contact field, Steve. So it updated it there. And then go to, went to the email, then remove from workflow. So then it went down, it would have sent the email. And so now if I go back here, and I'll just show you, we'll go into this contact. So now if we look down here and we go to, I think I put in additional. So there, influencer Steve, and it's the automations one. So this is like the one that people won't really be using. And it's just a text field. But it's a lot harder to sort and filter with a text field. That's why I have it set up to update the drop down for the influencer. So now you have this. And so now if we go back to contacts, because now what you can do is you can go to more filters here and we can say influencer. So you could do this one, but you have to type in, oh, I want to see what Bob is. It's not as, you could keep it that way. It's totally up to you. But if we did this one, now you can say, oh, I want to see everybody that is Bob. What do we do? Steve. Save. And then now you have that. You have a smart list. And you can even save the smart list. You can say Steve's or Steve appointments, whatever. And now you have this saved up here. Okay. So you have that, and then now you'd be able to count and see how many people of each one by coming and clicking on them. Or instead of saving it, you could just come in the filter, see how many does Joe have. Okay, none. Okay, so the link for the calendar now is going to be, if we go to two different ways, you have just the naked calendar link under settings. They would grab this calendar. So if you share and you copy this link, what you're going to do now, I'll show it here, put the link there. What it's going to be at the end of the, I'll make it a little bit smaller. Let's do that. So at the end of the link, you're going to do question mark ref equals, and then whoever the influencer is, say Bob. So now this will be Bob's link. And then what we can do is next link would be, say it would be Steve. Now these are their specific links. So make sure it's question mark ref equals. Now it doesn't have to be just the calendar link. You can also do it from a funnel. So if you were to say, come back to here, sites, and say you have the calendar on a funnel, same thing. You take this link, paste that there, and then again, it's going to be the same thing. Question mark equals ref, then whoever, put it at the end. Now it's going to be links that each influencer can use. So with that being said, hopefully that helps out, and that's how I would do that.